Hi everybody, welcome back to Tunes Reviews. Today we're going to talk about Tom Ford, my favorite house ever, period. Done. Tell me that I can only keep any fragrance from Tom Ford. I'm going to find something that I love and be content with it. That's basically what I'm saying. I absolutely adore this house so much. Today we're going to talk about what I'd like to call the Holy Trinity of fragrances, okay? These are the three from Tom Ford that kickstarted my passion for this house, that kickstarted my passion for fragrance, I think, really. I mean, I discovered these fragrances about a year into my reviewing journey, and I think that these fragrances basically kickstarted my passion for niche fragrances. Even though these are designer, high-end designer, exclusive designer, whatever you want to call them, these are what niche fragrances are all about to me, or at least where they started. You know, I did try Creed and Bond No. 9 before Tom Ford, but they're still very safe fragrances in comparison to some of the private blend fragrances. But that being said, for me, this house is definitely romanticized because it basically represents a time, a blip in time for me where fragrances were very exciting. This whole journey was very exciting. Getting to know new people was very exciting. The community was a whole lot more wholesome. My passion had just started. So it was just, this represents basically a blip in time where everything was kind of new. And I think that, you know, for me, Tom Ford makes pretty much one of the most quality type of fragrances that has ever been released, especially the private blend line, but also just, again, that nostalgia that it possesses for me. So the private blend line was released in 2007, and we have fragrances that have been discontinued. You know, Amber Absolute comes back once in a while, but, you know, Bois Moroccan and Arabian Wood and whatever else. Italian Cypress was recently discontinued. Then we have the staples that have stayed and continue to, and probably will continue to stay, like Tuscan Leather, Tobacco Vanille, Neroli Portofino. The list kind of goes on. And there are many fragrances that have come out since that I think are weak. There are lines that have come out that I think are weak, like the Urban Musk collection, which is trash. You can't convince me otherwise. And a lot of in between this, you know, Tobacco Oud was fantastic to me. I don't understand how people hate that, but that's whatever. We had Costa Azzurra, which I absolutely love. That was a signature scent of mine for a whole year. Just a plethora of really nice fragrances that have come out from Tom Ford. And so many that I just about collect almost every bottle that has come out since I started collecting Tom Ford. So just imagine what that Tom Ford collection looks like. I will tell you this. If the day ever comes where I'm like, you know, I'm shutting the channel down, no more new content, this is the last video I make. People have asked me before, show us your Tom Ford collection. If that day comes, I will gather all my Tom Ford bottles, bring them downstairs, shoot a video basically showing you each and every one of my Tom Ford fragrances. There's too many for me to bother with at this point. But if that day comes, I will do that. So these three are really what kickstarted that passion. I remember I was in contact with a Tom Ford representative in New York City who had sent me a whole plethora of the little screw-off. I think there was like 2 ml in the little jars that they used to send of the private blend line. Just sent me every one of them he had. And he sent me a couple miniature bottles that were like 5 ml of Grey Vetiver, Black Orchid, and I think that's about it from the actual designer line, the basic designer line. There was no Tom Ford for Men or Tom Ford for Men Extreme that was included in that package, but basically every other fragrance that he had at the time was included in that package, and that was so very nice of him. When I received the package, I smelled all of them, and I was essentially repulsed by Italian Cypress at the time, which I fucking love now. I wish I had. That's actually one of the only bottles I don't own by Tom Ford is Italian Cypress. Italian Cypress, Moss Bresh, Black Violet. I think those are the only, and Azure Lime. Those are the 4 I don't own. And I would never purchase Azure Lime, by the way. That's nah. But that's neither here nor there. The fragrances that I really did not care for at the time, again, were basically the ones I just mentioned. And the ones I really gravitated towards were these. So Black Orchid, which is just a polarizing, bombastic, chocolatey, patchouli, coconut, floral bomb. And again, I don't know why this is considered feminine, because it's 100% unisex to me. But I can see why some folks would be uncomfortable with it, because it is loud as hell. And if you're not comfortable with being loud, and you're not comfortable with a little bit of floral in your fragrance, a little bit of filthiness in your fragrance, then this is definitely not the one for you. But I love Black Orchid. I actually shot a short film with a group of filmmakers and myself. We're all friends, and I didn't shoot it. I was in it, I directed it, I wrote it, whatever. Never mind. I actually named the film Black Orchid based off of my love for Black Orchid. And I just think it's so funny, because if you watch the film, it has nothing to do with perfume at all, but it's actually up on my channel. If you ever catch yourself having 30 minutes of free time, you should watch it and let me know what you think in the comments down below. But I did name that film after one of my favorite fragrances ever made. So Black Orchid was the first one I tried. I absolutely fell head over heels in love with it, and purchased a bottle, I think, within the following couple weeks after using up the sample that I was so generously given. Now, the first one that really just blew my socks off for the private blend line, that I just was so in love with, absolutely head over heels in love with, was Bois Moroccan. Now, Bois Moroccan, if you guys have not seen my video that I came out with maybe 2 months ago or a month ago about my fragrances that I basically missed out on, I talked about how I owned Bois Moroccan and knew it was being discontinued, and basically did not hop on buying multiple bottles. I have since that video acquired a bottle of Bois Moroccan that I got for a very decent price. And this was just my absolute favorite fragrance from Tom Ford at the time. I was blown away. This was my first private blend purchase. I didn't even like Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille or Amber Absolute at the time, because, you know, crazy. I kill for those fragrances now. Seriously, I absolutely love them. But this is always going to hold, all three of these are, but this one especially, a very special place for me, because this was my first private blend purchase, purchased at full retail. I believe at the time his prices were about $210 or maybe $200 for the 50 ml bottles. So not quite as expensive as they are now, but still very pricey at the time. I was just blown away. For some reason, even though this fragrance is one of my absolute favorite cedar incense combinations ever, probably is my favorite ever, the one thing people never really seem to talk about is that it kind of has this barbershop feel to it. There's a bit of a barbershop, gentlemanly vibe going on with it. So to me, this is probably one of his most versatile fragrances that also smells very niche. So I love, love, love Bois Moroccan, and they should just come back with it instead of releasing it in a $300 fucking bottle, because it's just stupid and a load of horseshit. And last but not least, out of the Holy Trinity, you know, Tobacco Vanille is probably still, at least in my top 3 favorite fragrances of all time. It just is. I just love it. It makes me feel at home. It's very cozy. But it would not be my selection if you told me, you know, gun to my head, which bottle are you going to keep of Tom Ford's? And it wouldn't be Bois Moroccan or Black Orchid either. It would be this guy. It would 100% be this guy, because I think the nostalgia that I possess with this, the memories that I possess with this actually reminds me of my father, who passed away when I was 14 years old. It very much reminds me of him. He was into muscle cars. He loved muscle cars. So it reminds me of that leather, that pungent leather note that you get in some of the like 70s muscle cars. And of course, gave away leather. So Tuscan Leather, it reminds me of my father. It is a very comforting scent to me. It's very versatile to me. I love this in the summertime of all times. So, you know, I could wear it all year long and feel perfectly like it belongs on me. And I will tell you, it's one of the most complimented fragrances from his line as well. Not that that is my prerogative at this point in my life anyways, but it doesn't hurt. Black Orchid was my first purchase from Tom Ford, but these two were my first purchases from the private blend line, Bois Moroccan being first and Tuscan Leather being second. So I just thought that I would show this house a little bit of love and a little bit of a backstory as to why I love this house so much. And I hope you all enjoyed. What are your favorite fragrances from Tom Ford? And do they possess any kind of nostalgic nuances for you? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you all enjoyed. This has been another Tunes review. I'll talk to you all later.